supposed to be an incomplete fusion because you need all three to recreate the true original dragon, but at the same time, I just really wish these things weren't just such a hot mess. Well, cold mess.
Nice work out there, kid. Hey, you got some real moves on you.
Just tell me this visit wasn't for nothing.
I found a team of Singapore Sage. They definitely force.
Advanced individual force wheels mysteriously vanished. No wonder Master became obsessed. What else did you find?
Before they disappeared, the second journey to the planet Kashyyyk.
Cordova had a Wookiee friend named Tarpa.
Maybe we can find him.
Things are really bad down. The Empire's muscling in on those Wookiees big time.
Then we better get ready.
Out there, but as a respectable lizard, I think it's fine. Gen 4 was Munchlax. A cute new
I think this lifestyle suits you.
Gen 1
Fighting
Pokemon.
that
Solid decision. Gen 5.
So,
Very badass
how are you
Illusion Fox. Very cool.
And with the Force?
Yes, the Force.
Starters
I
and
know
the
you said
Fox
it
are
would be
legendary.
overwhelming.
You can
I
never
haven't gotten myself killed yet.
And then
Probably
Gen
not
7.
on
This strange.
I understand. More than you realize.
Why'd you choose to use the Force?
Everybody really confused?
When the purge started,
Of all the cool Generation 7 Pokemon, the first one you reveal is the mythical Pokemon that looks way too similar to
Patrol
another
discovered
mythical
locations.
Pokemon the generation just
I tried to lure you from the path.
Even if you like, okay guys, we know mythical Pokemon because this movie we're gonna make, then do Marshadow. Marshadow is adorable and awesome, but Gearna is just the robot ballerina.
How many left? Mostly they were.
Is because it was an odd and,
Cordova.
in my opinion, unworthy Pokemon to be our first taste of Generation
Prison
7.
riot.
It's just, it's
Saw my opportunity and I took it.
and also, its movie was terrible. Number 5, Reggie Giggins.
I think most
The Reggies are not my favorite, but they
I
are
am not the same as I
really
thought.
biased toward anything
How do
coming
I
from the
want?
Hoenn region. They get a pass here. Besides, the quest to find them in the Hoenn games is really interesting and creative and mystical and makes me feel like Indiana Jones. Plus, their cries in the Lucario movie are incredible.
That's why we can't give up. We can't let the sacrifice that goes to us.
But Reggie Giggins
Should be
is
free
a
nothing.
serious letdown compared to the original Reggies. I like the idea of the Reggies having a leader that controls all three of them, but I thought it would be something that encompassed all of their design aspects, the steel, the rock, and the ice. Not just a white blob with tatted arms, gold bling, and some bushes. Plus, honestly, guys, Reggie Giggins is a joke. It is the leader of a legendary trio, and its ability is slow start. How is the leader of a legendary trio so incompetent? Get it together, man. I just really think why is the normal type there? Well, because they're normal birds? No! Normal type is for normal animals with normal attributes that no other type really describes. If it's a Pidgey, it is something that can fly. Flying type is a type that describes it. They're not normal anymore if they can frickin' fly. So imagine how insulted I was when the first ever, and still the only one to this day, pure flying type Pokemon is a buff green man with a bad mustache sitting in a cloud. I get that they have interesting origins based on some Japanese myth or whatever. True Green Simmons discussed it at length, and he said that makes him like him more because they have cool origins, but he cares a lot more about a Pokemon's origins than me. I just want him to look cool, and Tornadus definitely does not. Also, two more quick things that make me dislike it. Its Therian form, while better, still looks pretty derpy, and its shiny is virtually indistinguishable from the normal one, and that's always a bad thing. Number 3, Meloetta. I don't like Meloetta because it's boring and it doesn't make sense. Why is this mythical, mystical, supposedly ancient Pokemon just a cartoon girl with a Britney Spears head mic slapped on her face and hair that's literally music staves, something that people came up with? That doesn't make any sense. I just think its design is really boring and lame, but the biggest reason I hate it is because of its arc in the black and white anime. I watched that entire arc. To this day, I don't know why. It was so bad, but every time I see Meloetta, I'm reminded of how terrible the black and white anime was. Kind of like I hate Axew, even though I love Haxorus, because Iris and her stupid Axew were just incredibly annoying. So if it's a Pokemon that reminds me of that anime, I'm not gonna like it very much. Number 2, Landorus. As you've probably inferred from the fact that this is the second one of them on this list, I am not a big fan of the legendary genies. No matter how interesting their origins may be, they're still just buff men with bad mustaches and hairstyles coming out of clouds, with weird tail things that don't make sense. They're just weird. Tornadus was number 4, Landorus is this entry, and Thundurus is not on this list because I dislike him least of the 3 for his electric typing and pretty cool looking Therian form. I still don't know what animal it's supposed to be, but you know, it looks pretty cool. Also, come on, if 3 entries on this list were all 3 of the genies, that would be too much. 2's already pushing it. Landorus is my least favorite of the 3 though. Obviously I dislike it because of its normal appearance, but there are 2 big reasons why I dislike it more than the other 2. The first is that his Therian form looks weird. I love the idea of a perpetually floating flying tiger creature, but Landorus Therian looks so bad because his face looks too much like the original. Tornadus and Thundurus' Therian forms have their faces changed quite a bit to look more like the animal they've become. It's not drastic, but they look more like animals, which I like. However, Landorus Therian form space, while it has clearly changed from the incarnate form, doesn't change to look more like a cat. It just looks like a different man face with a bad haircut plopped on the front of a cat. It looks ridiculous. And the second reason I dislike it is because of its prevalence in VGC. I was really into VGC back in the 2014 season where only Kalos Pokedex Pokemon were allowed. However, in VGC 15 that expanded to a lot more Pokemon, and Landorus Therian was everywhere. You either had to prepare for it exactly, figure out how to use it yourself, or both. And always having to think about one Pokemon in particular just really sucked the fun out of it for me. Like I said, I don't like any of the genies, but Landorus has personally offended me when the others have not, earning it the number 2 spot on this list. Number 1, Hoopa. I do not watch the Pokemon anime anymore. I have grown out of its childish plot lines, and I never really got accustomed to the new voice actors. Me saying new voice actors, even though the voice actors changed 12 years ago. Yes, I feel old now too. However, periodically my girlfriend Jubilee and I will take a look at some of the newer Pokemon anime creations, particularly the movies, and then I'm reminded why I don't watch it anymore. Because they're bad. Pokemon the movie, I Choose You, it was meh. Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel, not very good. Didn't really enjoy it. Hoopa and the Clash of Ages, dear God, this movie was a flaming hot pile of garbodor in the worst possible way. Was it cool seeing all of those legendary Pokemon battling it out in one place? Yeah, sure. But that did not make up for the fact that that movie's main focus was one of the most annoying, infuriating Pokemon to ever appear on television. Hoopa. Ale Hoopa Ring. Shut the f*** up. It only talked in third person, continued to talk like an idiot in its giant beast form, and even though it's a centuries-old Pokemon smart enough to speak, it was still an idiot. I hated that movie and the Hoopa in that movie so much that it has become my least favorite legendary Pokemon. Most Pokemon on this list are here because I think their designs are just lame or stupid. But Hoopa has made me want to pull my hair out every time I remember that freaking movie. And so that is why I will always dislike it, because its movie was just absolute trash. So there we have it. Those are my top 10 worst legendary Pokemon. If you happen to love any of the Pokemon on this list and I've offended you, my deepest condolences. Make sure, though, to get back at me, just share it to everybody you know. Share the video, and just so you can, like, hey, look at this idiot and his bad opinions. And the ads in this video, look at them. Watch them, too. That'll really get me. But if you're a lovely person who did like this video, make sure to click that like button down. I just did a thumbs down. What am I doing? Click the thumbs up button down below. And if you enjoy Pokemon and my content, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you are new here. Also, whether you're newly subscribed or have been subscribed for a while, make sure you tap that bell icon so that even if YouTube's being dumb, you always get notified of my videos so you don't miss anything that you want to see. Alright, that's all I have for now. So till next time, thanks. Gotta catch them all. Sweetie fans, Michael here, and almost 3 years ago, I made a video called The Top Pokemon of Every Type, where I went over my favorite Pokemon for each of the 18 different types. That video was very well received, but recently I realized that I never made the opposite of it. My favorite Pokemon of none of the types. I'm kidding, obviously. I mean my least favorite Pokemon of every type. So I figured, why not go ahead and do that now? This video will be my least favorite Pokemon of every single type. And this should be obvious, but just in case it isn't, if a Pokemon is dual-typed, it will only count as the entry for one of the types. So don't forget to leave a like on the video, and let's start off with my least favorite Bug-type Pokemon, Volbeat and Illumise. I know this is two Pokemon, but they are both here in the same entry because they are the exact same Pokemon. I love Generation 3. It was my first ever generation of Pokemon, so not only do I have a ton of nostalgia for it, but I also think it has a really solid cast of Pokemon. There are very few Hoenn Pokemon that I dislike. Volbeat and Illumise are two of those Pokemon because I have never really understood why they exist. They're based on fireflies, but instead of getting a really cool bug electric type Pokemon with light-based electrical powers, we got a pair of gingerbread cookies wearing travel pillows. But not only do they look dumb, they are also just so incredibly uninteresting. They have no evolutions and are nothing more than a male-female pair that likely would have been just one Pokemon if they had been introduced in Generation 4 or later. They are also extremely weak. Prior to Generation 7, they only had a measly base stat total of 400. They received a buff in Generation 7, boosting their total up to 430.
Cordova had supplies hidden all over.
Could be
worth a trip
Similar
past.
situation to Pokemon like Farfetch'd. They don't evolve, aren't particularly interesting, and are not strong at all. However, tons of people talk about how they want to see Farfetch'd get an evolution, but nobody ever talks about wanting to see Volbeat and Illumise get an evolution, because nobody cares about them. They are nothing more than two extra Pokemon species that you have to get to complete your
You know, you never told me how you became a Jedi.
How is
Honestly, quite forgettable. My least favorite dark type is a Alolan
Oh, yeah. See?
Don't worry,
I think it's a
You have no
fascinating
idea
and
what a
really
secret
creative
is.
way to introduce
Not a clue.
They see
Seek things?
Yes. They're Jedi certified to retrieve young Force citizens. Like the ones on that phone.
Oh, whoa. You know what this is.
I didn't discover Scout. That's what I think.
No,
it
I'm
means
a
I'm a
seeker too.
One of them is a Alolan Persian.
I guess so.
Now, I understand why Alolan Persian has such a round face. It's inspired by round-faced cats that
Get over here, kid. We're about to land.
such as the British Shorthair. But they took this way too far. It looks like Alolan Persian swallowed a watermelon and never got all the way down. Sleek body, but then an absurdly
Tell me we're not
large
running
head
out of
tacked
arcade.
onto the
Oh,
front of
only
it.
as a
If
last
Alolan
resort.
Persian existed in real
I've
life,
recommended
I'm
the transponder
confident that it would
transmitting
have to
period
walk
signals.
around on
Agreed.
its front legs
Power's
because
low
its
and
head would be
people
so
lie.
heavy it would lift its back legs up into the air. It's supposed to be this fearsome.
Don't need another set of hands.
Please keep your eye on us.
But it looks so stupid and silly that no one takes it seriously. My least favorite dragon type is Mega Ampharos. I like regular Ampharos.
I don't see anything.
I think it's a cute, well-designed
Preoccupied with something on the ground.
I have used in many playthroughs. And I think it's pretty universally liked. And while I think it was a worthy candidate to receive the Mega Evolution, this thing is so dumb. All they did was take regular Ampharos and then put a lot of hair on it. And then suddenly that makes it a dragon? What? Now I know what you're thinking, so in an effort to not seem hypocritical, I also think it's silly that Alolan Executor is a dragon type.
The Empire's
However, I
got
think
to
Alolan
value
Executor's
natural
design
resources.
premise of changing it to be a
piece
tall,
of this
palm tree is really
displaced.
creative and interesting. Mega Ampharos' design premise is freaking stupid. My least favorite electric type is circuitry. What the hell is this thing? I have not been
Aren't you supposed to be watching the monitor?
Guerrilla fighters, Wookiees and Offworlders ambushing an Imperial convoy.
Walkers approaching their position.
Could be anywhere. Like deep in the ground, like we're gonna be if we get caught up in a battle down there.
We don't have any other options.
or
They'll die without our help.
weird person bug.
So what's your plan?
They still furries?
Sabotage.
Circuitry
We
is
use
my
this
least
ground
favorite
walker.
of all of them, though.
I'll just jump.
This is literally just a bundle of wires with a
thinks we're
spiky
back in
light
the
bulb on
Clone Wars.
top.
Captain,
The only aspect
let us
of it
know
that
this
looks like a
universe.
creature is that it stands in a
Listen,
bipedal
those
way
walls
with
double
two
structure transport. So
bars.
once you get inside, be
Unconscious,
careful.
laying on the ground.
Freeze.
Hey, do me a favor. Stay alive down there.
This is not a
I'll add it to
monster.
the plan.
It is an object. Yes, I know there are plenty of people that are inspired by objects, but objects are given attributes to make them seem alive. Whereas circuitry is form itself into the shape of a Christmas tree. Why would an alien organism do this? It's so stupid. My least favorite fairy type is Aromatisse. Aromatisse is a terrible blend of something ominous and disturbing and something sexy. Aromatisse's face is inspired by the masks of Flame
You ready to do this?
Can dancer, an activity that is used by
That was close.
It's a good idea to take a Flame Doctor can dancer Pokemon. That is such a disturbing combination, made worse by the fact that it's not Now where? Deeply unsettling. Weird gourd-shaped body. I am also definitely not the only one who dislikes Simisphere. And in no way in 2016 they ran a Pokemon election in Japan, and Simisphere was voted the first Pokemon of every single one that existed at the time. And there's an award that I believe it definitely deserves. My next pick is Landorus. I don't like the changes. I understand they're interesting design choices, but that does not change the fact that they are the upper halves of buff men with weird facial hair sticking out of clouds. Those are simply not good designs for Pokemon. You might be fine in some other franchise where the enemies are weird. And to me, Landorus is the worst of the three. One of the reasons is that its hair is the dumbest. Hammerhead shark? No, dude, what are you doing? You're phenomenal. Get in a car, drive to a barbershop, and you meet him. Landorus is also my least favorite genie because of its fairy hair. First off, just slapping Landorus' head on the body of a tiger is something. And secondly, Landorus variant was everywhere in BBC battles when I was into it back in the day. You almost there. Seeing it everywhere and losing
Thanks, BD.
made me really dislike this all-looking Pokemon. My least favorite is Koopa. Flash of Agent is one of the worst movies I have ever seen. There is no flaw whatsoever, and the English voice acting is bad, and the cool action is definitely not cool enough to make up for those massive faults.
Climb to the top.
It is childish, selfish, stupid, and annoying. It constantly speaks in the third person, but not in a charming way like It just keeps saying stupid stuff like, they is okay. If this movie never existed, I would probably be indifferent toward it. But since that hour and a half was just so extremely unenjoyable, it left a lasting impression on me that will make me dislike Koopa for a long time. Also, I should note that while regular Koopa is a ghost type, Koopa Unbound is a normal type. I wanted to include Koopa with the ghost type entry because I remember hating the normal Unbound form, and also I really love that the version needed to be in this video. My least favorite grass type is Koopa London. I definitely dislike Sage because it's one of the monkeys, but there's a story behind Koopa London that has made me dislike it. When the Generation 6 starters were announced, the one I was most excited about was Chespin. Due to my strong attachment to Trico and Turtwig, I had a bit of a soft spot for grass starters. But Chespin was extremely cute, so I had high hopes for it getting a really good run. Then the second stage starters were revealed, and my hopes were Cullinan looks so bad. And for some reason got a bad-looking big nose. Either Chespin or have a large nose. That massive disappointment I felt when Cullinan was revealed left a lasting impression on me, and because of that, I have really disliked Cullinan. My least favorite ground type is a Alolan Duck trio. Remember how I was saying that I thought it was
Gotta get on top of this thing.
Emperors to Mega Emperors and adding hair to it? This is the same but worse. Design changes other than just the hair being added. The Alolan Duck trio does not. It turns a slightly darker shade of brown and gets the hair added to it. That's it. There are no other changes. It baffles me that they thought this design was acceptable. I understand it's supposed to be volcanic glass, but that does not matter here. They thought a logical adaptation of the species wasn't just growing long golden locks. It blows my mind that they cleared this terrible design for inclusion in the series, because I am not sure there is a my least favorite ice-type Pokemon is Jinx. This one shouldn't be too hard to explain. Jinx is a flat-out ugly Pokemon that is also very disturbing. It's got a creepy cartoon face that is surrounded by body features that are way too humanoid. That combination is really
I hope we're so lucky next time.
And two, whether it was against Whitney, the trainer in the Battle Mason, or against the Armor Guardian, Miltank has pissed me off more times than I can count. My least favorite poison type is a Moongus. I simply don't think a Moongus needs to exist because all of the roles it fills were already filled by pre-existing Pokemon. We already had a high-quality mushroom Pokemon in Breloom, and we already had a Pokemon fake-out Pokemon in Electro. And we, of course, had fun mushroom poison types. The fact that a Moongus is just a much uglier ripoff of these other Pokemon makes me dislike it. And when I say uglier, I mean it's hella ugly. Just look at that face. That is difficult to love. My least favorite psychic type
Am I even close to hitting him? Oh no. Hurry, get him!
I know it's supposed to be the slight hearted, silly Pokemon that makes did a great job at conveying that. All the Mr. Mime in the main series games look like they're staring through your bedroom window, getting ready to kill you in the night. Maybe
New ship on scanner.
so it's
How's our hull looking?
made more sense.
Badly damaged. We're at 70% integrity and falling.
That's
That
not
should still be
helping at
enough to
all.
stop out these...
I firmly believe Mr. Mime is the worst that my future interaction with
It actually worked.
my least favorite rock type is
What's happening over there? You're in violation of Imperial law.
Shut that guy up.
my hair.
Stand down or we will get...
Probably not gonna like it. Pass is no exception. It's love no matter how you judge it.
Let's do this.
Infinity, metal violence, looks stupid. Speaking of looks
So those are the blasters. So that fires the cannons. Got it.
Hey! Who are you?
Someone who just brought that up to the table. Who are you?
Someone making it even pie. We're back on the empty landing pad up ahead. With my 5 point.
Copy that. Let's make him even angrier. You won't be using that anytime soon. There's the landing pad. Gotta take them out.
us. Can you do anything? Hold on! Brace yourself, baby!
Which is kind of infamous for having a lot of bad sprites. I'll start by looking at the sprites for the Japanese release of Red and Green. In case you didn't know, the sprites in the Japanese Red and Green are different from the sprites in the Western Red and Blue. One of the first sprites that looks really off is Venusaur. Its body looks super squished flat like a pancake, while its flower stem is super tall.
Okay. You alright?
Was created
No,
after
we're
the
not
sprites
doing that
were.
again.
So, it's not like this design is wrong.
You just rest.
Kind of bad. Sugimori altered Venusaur's design
So
Wait for Ekans is another
What are
weird
you
one.
doing?
The open mouth seems to be much larger
doing?
than the rest of its
My
head,
complaint tonight
resulting
came
in it
because
looking
you
like it has a
disrupted
duck
this
bill.
plan.
It's very strange.
So, who are you
The
looking for?
strikes for Gloom and
We'll keep
Biofilm
the
are
name
bad
Torrent.
because they don't make anatomical sense.
How far is possible?
Both of them, the viewing angle of the flower is almost top
Freedom
down.
fighter?
But the viewing angle of their bodies is straight
similar
on.
resistance.
Additionally, the
Striking
attachment
clamp
points from their bodies to the flowers is far
See her?
too
See her?
low.
Grease?
It looks like the
This is
flower's
soft.
lowermost petals are where the body connects to them, making it look like they almost just have flower windmills coming out of the top of their head.
Not all.
They look ridiculous. The sprite for Mankey looks more like a blob that sprouted tentacles rather than a distinct body with limbs coming out of it. Seriously, those are not arms. Those are wiggly worm limbs. Machamp and Machamp plain creepy. Those smiles and wide faces are just
them might not
kind
know
of
what I'm
disturbing.
talking
The sprite for Farfetch
Oh,
has
wait
its
a
duck
minute,
bill
wait a minute.
curving
The management
up
works
into a
wonders
smile,
and it's great
which
shit.
I admit is
Pilot,
charming,
but
also
it is
looks
not
pretty
built for
good.
close
They should
support.
probably cover
You
Ghastly's
stay here and
sprite,
learn.
which obviously does not have the typical ball of Ghastly's middle, but I don't consider this a bad sprite.
My lieutenant and I will have to prepare to attack. Join us when you're ready.
Later. The sprite for Hitmonchan is just plain awful. You've probably seen that meme saying it looks like a dodo squatting down to poop with a Togekiss creepily peeking out from behind it, which is definitely true. Plus, the proportions just look so off, and the fist covering most of its body make things just look really strange. You can't tell what it looks like behind its fists. It's just a truly awful sprite. The sprite for Moltres looks very different from Moltres nowadays, but remember the sprite was created first and then Sugimori made his art. Even so, this Moltres doesn't look very good. It's extremely rotund, plus its eyes look like they're half closed. So therefore Moltres seems to be either falling asleep or very sad. The final bad sprite for Red and Green is one that you've probably seen before because it's made its rounds in memes. That being Mew. The weird bulbous head with the tiny curled-in arms and flipper feet make it look like it's on drugs.
Anything goes wrong
The sprites for Red and Blue. Blastoise for some reason got really bad. It looks like Red and Green, so I don't know why they made it such a
This trash.
for Golbat is an infamous one, as it should be. That weird tongue thing is deeply uncomfortable. You can see the spit drop off of it and everything. It's gross. Gloom looks far better than it did in Red and Green, but while Vileplume improved, the positioning of the attach point for Vileplume's body to the flower still isn't right. It still looks too low. The side this time, making it better than it did in Red and Green. That being it looks
Check
like
out the bench over there. Could be something useful.
Machop and Machoke again look weird. Machoke especially. It looks like a flat gingerbread man. Between these games and the last, somehow Cloyster's clamping direction rotated 90 degrees. That's weird, and I don't know why that change occurred. Both Execute and Executor sprites are
Hurry!
emulate how it looks in the anime. However, as a result, its head looks too big compared to the rest of its body, plus the flowers look too small. And the other yellow version sprite I don't really like is Mewtwo's because he looks like he's in the middle of a pelvic thrust. It's just kind of weird. Now on to Generation 2, which has a lot of different sprites because they vary between all three versions. I'll start with the gold version sprites. The sprite for Chinchou looks like it's been stepped on, and his eyes almost seem like they're coming out of the top of his head rather than the front. Slugma's eyes are placed further up on its head than most other Slugma interpretations. I find this look to be much more off-putting, but I suppose it could be classified as an earlier design, not an issue with the sprite itself. Corsola's sprite puts the coral branches in weird places. Rather than having all four of them come out of the top, two of them come out of the top and two come out of the side. It definitely doesn't look as good as other Corsola designs do. I think Igglybuff's eyes are too small, which makes it look more creepy than cute. Smoochum looks like a murderous Chucky doll, and I don't like that. Not one bit. None of the other sprites really bother me, but I did want to point out that Spinarak and Sneasel are colored completely differently in gold and silver than they are anywhere else, even Crystal version. I don't know if this was a design change mid-generation or just a severely overlooked mistake, but it's just a strange thing that happened. Now on to the sprites for silver version. Vileplume unfortunately seems to have regressed a little bit, now appearing like its head extends much further above its eyes than it should.
How much current can you conduct?
Looks like it's tagged onto the top of the bigger Weezing's head, like we've seen before.
Short circuit Imperial tech.
I don't know why they keep doing this. The sprites for Chinchou, Igglybuff, Slugma, Corsola, and Smoochum all have the same issues in silver as they do in gold. And finally for Crystal, virtually all of the sprites are taken from either gold or silver and then animated. So any of the sprites that I would discuss here are ones that I've already covered. Now on to Generation 3, starting with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. As you might expect, the later we go into the generations, the fewer bad sprites we're going to see because they got a lot better at making sprites. So, therefore, some of my critiques from here on out might get a bit nitpicky. Queen's sprite looks just a little goofy, like it's about to sneeze. Weezing again has that weird placement of the smaller head on top of the head.
Let's try it.
Is this just some, like, alternate Weezing design that they took a while to give up on? What? Lugia's head seems like it's too big. I know it's closer to the camera than the rest of its body, but the same is true for Ho-Oh's sprite, and Ho-Oh's head looks normal. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, the only sprites that differ from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are the ones for the Kanto Pokemon, and I must say, I don't really have a problem with any of them. Nice work. Next up would be Generation 4, but I looked through all of the sprites, and I think all of them are well done. Again, nice work. But then we get to Generation 5, and Gen 5 made it so sprites are constantly moving rather than just having an animation at the start of a battle, and I really don't like this decision. For a very large...
That's our overcharge this.
A lot of the movements cause the lines to look broken, or dotted, or staticky, and they just look really bad. Plus, some movements warp the body parts in certain ways that look really unnatural. I am seriously not a fan of the Gen 5 moving sprites. They look fine if they don't move, but when they're moving, although I must say, the fire in the animated sprites... It looks pretty cool. Like I said, I don't like the Gen 5 sprites as a whole, but I'm gonna list off several of the sprites that I think are the worst offenders. Gyarados Beak looks like it breaks into segments when it moves. Electrode's smooth outline becomes spiky when it rotates. Mew's tail looks awful when it moves, like it's turned to static. Houndoom's tail is in a similar situation. It seems to have distinct segments. Phanpy's trunk seems to break in half when it brings it in. Like, that legit looks painful. Wolbrace Lilypad turns to static. Azuril's tail turns to a Sharpedo looks fine up until the moment it opens its mouth farther and turns its body, at which point every line goes to crap. The Oxus Speed Pool is in the same situation as Mew's and Houndoom's tails, where they seem to be segmented when they're actually smooth and continuous. This spray animation really doesn't seem to do very well with long, skinny, thin limbs. Brigadier's arms and antennas just look off. Luxray's tail is another long, skinny limb that gets really messed up. Amazon's tails have this problem.
Yeah, I'll stop the impact.
Understood.
But when it moves its lances and spiral shell, both end up looking awful. And finally, Lampet's arms always look horrible because it's constantly moving. Not every example, but these are the ones that I think are truly awful. They look totally fine when stationary, though, and I wish they had stuck with just stationary. So that covers all of the bad sprites in the main series, so now it's time to talk about 3D models. However, before we talk about the main series ones, about 3D models that were used in console games prior to Generation 6, in games such as Pokemon Snap, Stadium, or Coliseum. A lot of them look bad, especially the older generation Pokemon, because the later generation Pokemon had their models made, well, later. But while a lot of them look not great, here are a few that stand out to me as extra bad. One of the most memorable for me is Kangaskhan. Its movements are wild and erratic, and its body parts are strapped together on top of
The trooper.
It does not look
I got him.
Another is Nidoqueen. Its torso is freaking cubic. It looks ridiculous. And then there's Lickitung, whose eye placement looks like Hellspawn. And now let's talk about the main series 3D models. Since the same models are used in Generation 6, 7, and 8, I'm gonna talk about all of those generations with this one segment. For the most part, I think the 3D models are good. They seem to do a really good job of representing to take Pokemon into the more modern generation of games. However, there are a few models that make some Pokemon look way less cool in 3D than they did in 2D. One of the more infamous examples is Typhlosion. There are a lot of problems with this model. The most obvious is that its fire is not constantly lit. That's true for this entire evolutionary line, and it's a mistake. Its fire is constantly lit in literally every other main series sprite prior to this, and it looks way cooler. Having it sit there with its neck naked just does not look good. I understand that Typhlosion only really lights its fire when it's in combat, but where do you see this model most of the time? Freaking combat. Additionally, the pose isn't good. It's standing super upright, which makes its neck look so much shorter. Compare how Typhlosion looks in this model versus any other sprite. What happened to the guy's neck? The pose is also pretty short. That is a problem for a lot of 3D models, because most Pokemon's neutral position is just standing there. In a neutral position. Because the fire is always lit and it's in a much more interesting dynamic pose. I go for Typhlosion's next appearance, it gets a better 3D model. Another Pokemon that I think became way less transition from 2D to 3D.
Wookiee Warriors left this. They used this place to hide out.
It looks cool. The proportions are proper. It's got big wings, looks like a cool raptor Archaeopteryx hybrid. It's tough, but then they gave it a 3D
Let's go, BD1.
and everything up. They made its arms and wings way smaller, so now it looks like it's struggling to see rather than being additionally, rather than having the eyes look forward, they just look out in opposite directions. Brainless. Looks so bad that if it had been it may not have ended up as my favorite possible Pokemon. I may not have been the I'm not doing all of it. Especially because I generation sprite. Saturation. Vibrant and which really washed out compared to previous generations sprite. One of the most notable examples is the Star Army shown as a deep
Jedi will perish.
3D model is so pale that it looks like it's dying.
I won't know, I shall.
Completely ruined the switch. One notable example is Lantern. And its shiny color.
I need one.
Regular coloration. Prior to Gen 6, Shiny Lantern is a deep green. Of the regular coloring. Then in the another shiny that was running models was Mirror. This wasn't shiny that I ever captured.
Looks like you're fucking blocked. Never seen a trooper like that before. You gotta get these Wookiees out of lock-up. Keep moving, Jedi.
The 3D models, it's dark green. What? Why? Why did they do this? I will admit it's closer to the shiny coloration that Firo had in Gen 2, but they changed a lot of shiny colorations from Gen 2 to make them look better in Gen 3. Why would they revert to this awful shiny?
Tight fit. Not beating.
Look, it seems the sword and shield are taking a big
Flame beam. They're coming through the wall.
You sure you want to plug into this thing? Okay. Oh, shortcut! That's why you wanted to move this thing.
You had no idea that was there, did you? You just wanted to turn the cutter on.
Most wonderful deals of the year are here. This front-load laundry pair is just $5.99 each. No credit required leasing and Sears card financing available. Shop our wonderful deals today. Visit SearsHometown.com.
Greetings, friends. video, a bird Pokemon is a Pokemon based heavily on a real-life bird. A bird is defined as a warm-blooded, egg-laying vertebrate distinguished by the possession of feathers, wings, and a beak, and typically by being able to fly. We are going to ignore the egg-laying part because all Pokemon can lay eggs, so that doesn't help us here. However, the games oftentimes use the term bird Pokemon to refer to just flying-type Pokemon in general, and in my opinion, that should not be the case, and it's definitely not the case for this. For example, Golduck is a bird Pokemon.
I just heard from the captain. They're coming. This is it. At least we have the high ground. What was that? Another hijacked cutter. Reporting a live cutter near the cell blocks. Immediately requested. It's breaking through and destroying everything. Come on, hit him!
So far, almost to the prison.
Good. Imperial distress calls are going out across the planet. If you don't get the prisoners soon.
We can do this. I promise.
Why they thought it was a good idea to design a Pokemon-based one. No one wants to be reminded of their awkward stage teenage haircuts. Just put that away. Number 64 is Empoleon. I've gotten some flack for it over the years, but I have never liked Empoleon. While I don't think it's as ugly as Prinplup, I still find it very ugly. Its tiny head on its wide waist looks goofy, and I don't like the strange tuxedo tassels. I know a lot of people really like Empoleon, but I simply never will. Number 63 is Tornadus Therian 4. Now, while regular Tornadus is definitely not a bird, Tornadus Therian most certainly is. It's got the body of a bird.